Hello, I am PhantomDogman and welcome to Thousnad episode 26 and that is it more music. In last episode we talked about our scar which we got in this library where we are in the other thing in unfinished thing, but we don't know still how Eden got that scar, and at some point it starts overthink, and let's say he left earlier for all those things. Cheerful and ready, Claire spins around as she tries to feel the totality of the room all at once with her antennas, and bright expressions placed across her face as if she remembered the best moments in her entire life. Excuse me about that burp. Now before this recording, Kate drank water. The last part is a lunch that only grows more and more flaky the longer I watch it. She walks around the tables and explores all of the shelves with the passions of a treasure seeker that already knows actually where to find their loot. Really? Claire, you're playing too much JRPG games. She opens all of the doors she finds, or RPG games in general, only to close them again after taking a peek to see what was inside and nodding eagerly. This is fantastic, dear. I love it. I'm beginning to understand why you're so obsessed with this place. Don't take it that everything here is awesome. Yeah, I have to clean the place from time to time, and it doesn't have water or electricity, or anything really, but at least it's quiet. It's very quiet. It's so far away from the rest of the world that it guys you a lot of pressure, especially for doing it. Really? Doing what? For the love of God, dear, you weren't for yesterday. You have no perfectly well what I meant, really. It's in that kind of way. In the way in not safe for work way. Or fault you like me to guide your demonstration of it right now. I joke on my own self, and I in Dresford Clay slowly begin to look at me. What the God you are, sir? I gave you time we already agreed to certain thing, and I'll honor that. So, what are you planning doing, Claire? I'm not coward, but you can say things like, are you sure? What? Claire grabs my neck and pulls me closer to her, then stands on the tip of her toes until we're face to face. Our faces are so close that we practically kissing. Well, not really properly. Sparks fly out just as in a light breeze could set the room ablaze. But instead, the kiss never happened. No destiny wanted to give me that push. Of course it won't. You know Alice called to that, but nope. Inserted, after a few seconds, embrace me, wrapping her arms around my neck and pressing her lips against my right ear. You're so good when you're speechless here. Now, I guess your crazy side show up. She lets go, releasing me and taking a couple of steps backwards, while lying with the end of her skirt between her fingers. She looks at me and smiles, finding for as long as she needs to. I don't need to hear it verbalized to know actually what she's thinking. The most important thing is for me to be truthful. And she wants to look at that piano, maybe. I get resistant and sick looking down, and when I look back, she's gone. One of the doors is opened, indicating that she went further into the depths of the complex, getting lost in the labyrinths. Grey allies and forcing me to call out her name. She answers me. I can hear her voice resounding from every direction, but I can't find her behind any of the doors on corners. Then check that piano room. It's like a game. Around or you did secret piano room, a round of items secret plays out indefinitely. Our voice echo within the narrow space between the walls that extend out towards every directions. I hope that nothing will happen to Claire and Aiden. I'll never be able to find it unless I listen to which path I must take. I won't reach anywhere if I don't stop and listen beyond the words. Understanding the melodic whispers that could only originate from one place. The music drop. Oh, in this music room. Oh, she's playing piano. That took halfway there. Was it what asked for you to find me? I feel like that this clear and 18 var for where at that prologue. Or not? Well, we will be finding out maybe or not. And that's why Claire fell in love with Sierra. Maybe. The melody is deafening. My mind becomes a blur as I recognize the well-known tone that Claire is playing on the piano. I guess that might be about that prologue thing. She lovingly graces the cakes with her long, slender fingers. With a establishment monish, she relays the rest of the melody. Sentiments from deep in her head fluttering about well. If Claire says about that she leaned out of the piano then, I guess she waited Kit and Aiden were both was playing piano in prologue. We can talk why I play, don't worry. I know this song so very well by ear, even it's not a problem. Despite her infinitions, I remain silent. Well, I guess we are shocked that she knows how to play piano, or surprised at least. I'm enthralled in memories. Surprised and the beat of the morning sun, reveling on the gentle waves on her air, surrounding her face and epitomizing her chiming smile. Every time I play this song, I always ask myself the same question. Is this a sad or a happy song? Okay. I'm listening to the sound and, well, of course I can't hear much of that song, but still, I'm trying to know. Always, this part, it seems sad. Or in middle, maybe. Well, I don't know. Yes, it does appears to be, well, like in the beginning, but as song goes on, it gets more difficult to discern if it's actually more on the past or ballad of hopes for the future. Maybe not, why not both? Some say that depending on your mood or for fit, your impressions of things may change. That might be true. This feels like one of those cases where the song doesn't define the emotions. But the emotions is what defines the song. God damn it. Sorry about that board. I don't reply, unable to find any answer in the face the notes are playing. I hear them clearly, but it's impossible for me to put them in any satisfactory pattern. Well, this is actually a song that Claire is playing when in background or well, it's actually playing. Do you know the history behind this song? I shake my head. Of course not, there is none. People are always trying to find a deeper meaning behind everything around them. A story that transcends beyond ourselves and gives us meaning. It turns out that the composer made this place and he was younger. He was ashamed of it for not being as good as its other works. Really? I guess this was, well, if this wasn't Virtuoso, then of course. He didn't publish it until many years after its concept changed, when he was very famous virtuoso, and a client wanted to take advantage of his fame. And now, oddly enough, it's his most famous compositions, the one you'll always be remembered by. Or maybe that wasn't attained and cleared in them in prologue. Claire's playing rounded up, increasing the pressure against the case without losing her pace and speeding up her thoughts as she speaks. I was named after this song. Really? I didn't know that. For the peacefulness and the shining, bright moonlight. The power we have to influence other people lies in nearly inconceivable. To the point, this for everything we're ashamed about. We can simply add explanations for the next generation long before they're ever born. That's why I so often wonder what this song is supposed to be asking of me. For I should be to meet its expectations. Her knees being to shake nervously and it incessantly rubbing against each other recklessly while her hands continue playing without losing tempo. She is nervous when she's talking about that. It scares me. I'm afraid of not knowing what I feel. Afraid of not having control. Afraid of the lies behind every decision I make. Well, of course every person lie at some point. And while I observe everyone else being worried about what will happen after they die, I'm scared of something even worse than that, and what it is, I'm scared of life. Then all you called lies to this point. The melodies of that, passionate with the uneasy that comes out the restaurant, followed by great effort made by each and every cell in their body not to stop playing. It's not embarrassment, and simply don't want to shine. I want to be background character that nobody cares about, talking and standing, or just enough that no one notices me. That's why I hide, or at least that's how it was until something changed, and what it is changed. When we met each other, someone appeared and destroyed the foundation that I built with so much effort. I lived in boring, peaceful, grateful that was closer to that than life. Nah, that isn't how you should be. Well, okay, that's sad way to life, I think. But those feelings that I long ago forgotten about returned to me and once again began blooming inside me. Stupid, isn't it? The complaints of teenager. After that, those ideas spread like a virus, taking all the vague essence that can only express indifferent for the world around it, immersing it in darkness and fighting because it knows that this may be its last chance to find happiness. I guess she wanted to aid herself because she is actually 18, but she looks like little kid. Unexpectedly envy. Okay, I will be restarting reading that. Unexpectedly. Let me try one more. Unexpectedly. Well, fuck. Envy, jealousy, anger, rage. Anger and rage isn't the same thing. Okay, rage is more anger. Well, you break stuff. Well, even in anger you break stuff, but violence, disorder, being close to you is only awakened parts of me that are shameful, and I can't do anything about it, because it's your fault, it's your responsibility. Well, you need to experience some of those emotions to live fully, I think. This is me, Sierra. The mediocre melody that fears becoming a classic, that doesn't know which side of the spectrum it belongs to, and that only needs 3 votes from you to be answered. Then, by your parents' name, you alter that song. You can make all that I respect that disappear, or at least all that I already accepted, if you allow me to. My fingers slow down as I reach the end of the song. The air is thick and heavy. There's something in it that burns, irritating my throat to the point that I am now totally speechless. When I look at it, she smiles like she always used to, like she always does, and I can't upset that. Not with those set eyes. So, that was no CHI image or not. When the song said we can't say anything. I always be like this, right? It doesn't matter what I think, she already acknowledges. The worst part is that no answer will suffice unless it's truthful. I'm sure about one thing, Draft. I'm sure about the tenderness she used to play that Debussy song. Yep, that song was in the prologue Debussy. And all the lies I wanted to forget. Okay, I'm speechless about that too. And I'm questioning back to school or back to Lowe's and back to Lowe's, Dennis and Claire's schools. I was the other side's entrance and psyched, still searching for the best words with the naivety of someone who thinks that there's a correct answer. Standing next to me is Claire. I wonder what happened in the music room. She left without a sound, forgetting what had transpired. It only a second without even allowing me to give my opinion on it. In the toilet, she told me that talked about going back to school and some other stuff. She invited me to go back with her, and after it took me a second, I said, wait, you all that ends? Wait. Okay, nope. Why had drugs say all that ends? However, despite her looking innocence about it, it's obvious that she's enamored with my answer. I have to say something before we part ways. It feels necessary, but she interrupts me as once as I try to open my mouth and speak, and she will be saying that I'll break and your answers needs to be truthful or something like that. Thank you for accommodating me there, or not. I inaudibly dropped my nose and gave up. Don't say goodbye so soon. I'll go in the door. What? Why? What are you going to? It's cold. What in the world can I do? For? No, I just want to know the fashion. I'm already late for my next class anyway, so I'm gonna take it easy in the meantime. You know the way, right? Good luck then. I got to go since I'm in hurry. See you there. Well, if both buildings are same or at least similar, then probably inside it will be same. I'm using several jumps, no luck needed. I can't finish my sentence before she's gone. She didn't even let me say goodbye to her. As I finish my studies, I hear the bell start to ring, so I decide to wait here for a little while, until the students are gone rushing around. It'd be little feared if someone caught me and asked which classroom I'm from. Most people don't play okie dokie to go to another school on the other side of the street. Wait a minute, both schools are that close. Okay, no problem. Well, we need the same map. I've already skipped the class in a row, and by the time I get back, it'll be reckless. Considering that, I prefer to skip the rest of the time and go home, because of the scare it out. When everyone settled into their classrooms, I try to slip away, wondering what the stealthy illness exits out of the building is, and probably somebody will be catching. In my school, I will also use the north office windows, but I am not so sure that will work yet since there's nowhere to go from the backyard. Still, without a plan, I see one of the teachers eating in my direction, forcing me to turn back and look for another way out of the school. When I think I'm safe, I see another teacher going upstairs not too far away from me. It is that odd for these teachers to be on time for the class or what. This will all be totally normal if it wasn't for the fact that I immediately find myself surrounded by yet another patrolling teacher approaching me. This feels less and less like school and more like Arena 51. Without anywhere to hide, I stay close to the wall behind me until I suddenly feel no thought of eating. I catch my neck from behind. So, Knitty somewhere back, I guess it is. I see this as opponent and I peek inside a small window attached to the door, praying that it will be. But that's not the case. Inside I find normal classroom, filled with students taking notes, but there is empty desk in the last row. They listening to the lesson of teacher, so all that I can feel is not retained. He seems to read Thomas and he keeps talking while he writes on sexual form. There's no escaping now. I can't even think of good excuses in case I'm found by patrol, especially because of incessant skulking of the teachers inside this classroom. This precisely what inspires me with idea. You will be going into this school. It's so absurd that it may mock and under the harsh pressure that's one on me right now, and I sent both into process. I gently don't ignore me, slowly opening the door as not to make any noise. Opening up small capsules big enough for me to get out. Everything happens in a second. I get inside at the same time that the t-shirt goes, and with one finger I manage to close the door, leaving it begin as I roll on the floor towards the last row of desk. I bite the chair from the desk in single unclined motions, then I use myself out of the chair like snakes later on tree, and take my head, which isn't my seat, aiding my elbow in the attempt to hide from the teacher and students in front of me, and I ensure in quick lunge that the door is closed just as I expect. Do not raise any suspicions. Really? This is own school to lane in another school. Lunch festival. My hands shake with excitement, unable to believe that a successful polite of such feet and better than them flopping or better than or Phantom combined together. I'm real good right now. My plan has perfect no mistakes in anything, in its planned actual actions or even sequence actions. I'm sitting on my eye course when I'm locked on my left and realize the one second mistake that I made. That Phyllis is sitting next to me. And so, surprise. Okay. I'm outside that incredible absent by all expression some people can't without even speaking verbally. Why are you here? Not that loud. She doesn't even open her mouth. No sound is heard, but I can feel. I draw it as loud, but I can tell what she's saying if she's shouting it like the out of her mouth. Explain yourself or die. Seriously, I'm freaking out. This must be the closest thing to teleport in the false fort. I don't even mind. The purple of my arm is taken from its strong grip. I raise my interesting skin close for a second. I lower my hand down to my hands to take out my number. Opening into blank mail and begin to write. I thought I was boring and predictable. I can't believe you came into this just because of the comment I made at the mall. So you also is writing close. No shows your own pen and phrase on the page. Outrock. Then notice that at the end of each sentence she adds a small smiley face. Expect it's frowning instead of smiling. Not real, but since I'm here, I can take this opportunity to tell you something. And you will be something. Tell me something, but can you wait the bit for that truth? And second, she adds a smiley to the end of the sentence. This time a face with question mark over its head. More better than your average emoji really. Lost, you should be working that emoji place. That's decent emoji. I know everyone writes like this on their cell phones, but in the first time I've seen someone do it on paper. Do you always add smiley to your thing? What do you want smiley say? And I can do it. I can't help but giggle, and I see start to throw something after each last sentence. But she crosses out before giving me the notepad back, and takes it right at and said, Nothing, said God. Don't be shy. I answered that you're insane a long time ago. That's all my sense. I try to add my own smile and face covered its mouth, as if it's looked at something. It's a pity that my artists and couplets haven't improved since kindergarten. Well, if you have If you fall out round, then it will be improved. It's hard to believe that my smiley is a shape in the first place. Most end up governing your mouth with fun and holding your stomach with others, trying to hide your unashamed so that nobody will catch us. What is this teaser? No, I answer why you chose to write instead of draw. As always, she accompanies your sentence with a drawing, this time with a silhouette of someone loaded on the floor. That's not true, I can do better. Then that I just went in hurry on the all. Really? Really? On the all. Really? Well, Elvis Unborn is short for 1000 lies for this visual novel. Oh, the wait, that's how you pronounce A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, don't know English but that. Wait, I know it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and B. Okay, skipped. The. Jag kan säga mål av setting on all for the O is his head, the D is his arm, and the L is his legs. You're supposed to be smiley expert. Well, excuse me, I don't know why, but I figured it was the acronym or something important. Something like 1000 lies. Something that defines us. Forget it. In any case, let's get something straight. Drawing is too much for you. You know that drawing is better for writing. I raise my hand as if to ask a wrong video. Lost and amends your previous sentence. I'll put it on special plate. Drawing really is better than writing. I'm finished. I think as we start fighting over no-box monopoly, from then on we start mode 4 between yes, where we fill several pages with drawings, serious accumulations and insults and critics of all different kinds. Ready, and you didn't write what you wanted to say to us. The acid connects to of the spilled ink doesn't rust or enter nothing. Now formula debris. Our concept to the point that we enjoy our combinations to see for us more imaginations intelligent shit about other. I'm barely coming out of this entrance and scatter since the quality of my drawings is just local awful, so much that slows can hardly contain it water. It's one of those times when the less you want to look, so it is not to. During one of these weeks, the teacher suddenly goes silent, and in other case in outdations, we all outbreak with ways that anyone will declare equality from seeing them, and then the teacher clears his thoughts and connects from where he left, letting us breathe in peace once again, and we didn't notice that we from elsewhere. Look at what we almost did. I'm sure the entire classroom has already realized that you are fat or they cannot think. Tell them that I'm the ghost of Christmas past. But I'm running a bit late. Why do you even care what they think? No, they only think like this is your brain. So everything I like to see how you react in reverse situation. We're going to credit on anyways. Why do you seriously care at this point, lady? Let's take some time to think of the treating my last subjects. This time, replying without any smile at the end. I'm always pretty worried about what others think about me, right? You must think I'm obsessed. Lowe's face seems to relax. But her lips tense cloak in the mouth. One cold only takes for that is the outcast. It makes me stop and question my reply, since it seems inappropriate to continue joking and playing games. It isn't to give it a clear and ample response. But doesn't. If someone denies it, say lying. You once told me that others think it's important because society is a reflection that let us see our true selves. I agree that, but it doesn't change the fact that sometimes we can be more careless when we ignore that we can't or anyone else don't know think. A brief smile comes to her face while she reading. She takes her time for writing and answers properly, pretending not to leave out any important details. It's just that I always cling to the excuse of having to fulfill everyone else's explanations, because that way I can forget about what I actually want. My fondness for traveling isn't so much love for that, but a way to make my trips take shape. It's worth the millions of ideas and trips that cross my mind, believing that somehow I can eventually live out all of them. Now, while everyone else is descended on and forming their personas, I'm afraid of embarking on that journey. I'm scared of discovering that I can never become the person I dream of being. Especially because so I'm afraid of becoming is an incomplete idea. A success that is yet to be fulfilled, and ideas like drawings are always perfect in our minds, but they turn out different on paper. You need try, and try again to make it better. Most looks away while I read it not. I have to tap it on the shoulder to give it back the opposite my reply. I think you should keep doing what you feel instead of questioning your future goals. Because I doubt you can smile in your dreams as happy as you have while you were driving. She pauses. She tries to write down a reply as quick as possible. I can see the words it doesn't because on the paper, but she regrets and it crosses it. The bell rings and the students are out to start organizing the box while the teacher raises voice to give us final instructions before leaving. And the time it takes me to turn around to look the belt's directions and then return to my original position. Now stand up and pulls on my shirt, dragging me out of the classroom and into the hallway. Okay, really? Your teacher owns school to go into Lou's classroom. Anyways, I will be leaving this episode here. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, maybe like. See you next time.